I'm Wendy Venturini for Wix Filters, and I love engines. And I'm here at Chip Ganassi Racing with Pete Bingle, and Pete is the component fabricator here at Chip Ganassi Racing. Now, I know most mechanics in the sport of NASCAR have a love of engines. What is your first memory of working on a car growing up?
Geez, I think it started with my dad when I was about 4 years old, him putting a model car together, and then that was it, you know. After that, pulling lawnmowers apart, and then getting yelled at and made to put it back together again, you know. Then from there, motorcycles and cars were always, you know, the older kids at the time, you know, always looking at fast cars and growing up in that thing, and then watching racing, which wasn't really on TV much back in those days. I only knew there was 3 races: the Daytona 500, the Indy 500, and the Southern 500, and that was it. You know, that's the only thing I knew until I got older. Of course, I'm not from around here, so I was up in the Northeast, which there wasn't much racing going on.
Yeah, that's true. So talk about the connection between motorsports and NASCAR and people that love street rods, hot rods, classic cars, motorcycles that you mentioned, and the correlation between the two.
Well, I think the technology over the years has filtered down to these cars. The engines, what some of the really hot engines today on the street, what we raced maybe 10, 15 years ago. So that's really neat. And now NASCAR's gone to fuel injection, which is what's going on. So that's a current development in both sides of the sport. I mean, it is a sport. It's great.
Any classic cars you've owned through the years that you've worked on?
Oh, geez, I've worked on a lot of people's hot rods. I've had, you know, early Ford pickup trucks, and I currently have a 67 Ford pickup, and plus my motorcycles. I've been riding motorcycles since I was about 8 years old, so I kind of grew up with Harley Davidsons before Harley Davidsons were really popular. But it's just an ongoing thing. You always got your eye open in somebody's backyard. You know, what's sitting back there looking for that Model A or a 32 Ford or something like that, you know.
I've done the same thing myself. I've driven by somebody's yard, seen something that may be lawn art to them, and I see potential. Have you ever stopped and talked to some random person on the road about their hot rod sitting in the backyard growing weeds over it?
Oh, yeah. I do it all the time, and my wife thinks I'm crazy, you know, like, pull over, you know. I says, did you see that? Did you see it? And she looks at me. Well, she's used to me now, but, you know, she'd think I was nuts, you know, like, you can't go over there. I says, yeah, just watch me. And, yeah, you could, you know, some good conversations, you know, you learn some things, and you're hoping that maybe you can buy it, or, you know, maybe that spurred the guy on to do something with it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You got to be a little crazy to do it, but what the heck, you know?
All right, to sum it all up, tell us about your love for cars, your love for engines, and how it correlates to what you do here at Chip Ganassi Racing.
Man, over the years, it's just, it all just goes together, you know. As a little kid watching the Daytona 500 and someday going like, geez, I want to be there, and then getting the opportunity to be there and winning it the first time I went as a crew member, that was just awesome, you know. And everything you do here, you meet so many talented people in this sport. So if you might not be a good engine guy, but you want to learn, well, there's a guy over there that he's top of his field, so you just get to go over and talk to him, and you learn stuff, you know, and vice versa. You know, you might be a great metal man, and they're looking to learn how to weld a panel on a car. So, yeah, I'll show you. You know, you showed me how to fit rings to a piston, so now I'll show you how to put a panel on a car. So it just works together, and car people are car people. They're just fun to be around.
That is so true. Well, thanks for joining us. This is Pete Bingle, and that's at Chip Ganassi Racing, the component fabricator here at the shop. He's got a cool job and a lot of good stories to tell us about those hot rods. I'm Wendy Venturini for Wix Filters.